everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Deidre Anthony, founder and creator of AreThoseYourKids.com, a blog dedicated to providing resources for the whole multiracial family. So today, I am so excited to talk to you guys about one of my favorite subjects, books. I am a school counselor and educator, and I love books. We have so many books in my house, we almost have a mini library. So when my husband and I decided that we were going to have a baby, I knew that I needed to have representation of my family in books for my kids to read. So my little collection has grown from about 5 books to I can't even tell you how many books. And the coolest thing too is my mom is a first grade teacher, so she's always on the lookout for books that have multiracial families or have some kind of multicultural element. So today, guys, I'm sharing with you a few books from my collection. So if you don't have a collection of books that represent your family or multiracial families or multicultural families in your home, don't worry, your girl's got you. Stay tuned. If you like what you see on this channel, I'd love for you to hit subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. So I hear you. So what if you are not in a multiracial family? Why in the world do you need books that represent other people? Well, I told you I'm an educator, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the world we live in is diverse. Your children are going to grow up, they're going to graduate from school, and they're going to enter the world of work, or they're going to go to college or start their own business. And the world we live in is diverse. Even if you live in a small town, at some point you're going to encounter someone who doesn't look like you, who doesn't sound like you, who might speak a different language or multiple languages, and you want your children to be equipped for the world that they're going to live in. And did you know that multiracial Americans are the largest group of minorities? So really, this group of multiracial Americans at some point might be the majority. So it's important for you to prepare your children for entering a world that's going to look different from them. So I'm so excited to share with you some of my personal favorite titles and some of my children's favorite titles. The first one is Mixed Like Me. So I got this book probably when my daughter was about 2, and we started having conversations about what being biracial or multiracial meant. And I really liked this book because the character talks about his racial identity. He says, "Mommy, why are you not mixed like me? You look like vanilla with honey from a bee, and Daddy looks like chocolate milk." So in my family's case, I'm black, my husband is white, and so this was a perfect conversation starter. So we didn't sit our kids down and say, "Mommy's black, Daddy's white, and you're biracial. What that means is you are a combination of the two of us." No, what we did is we opened the door for conversation through books. So Mixed Like Me is a great one. Whoever You Are. Now this one, for me, I can always tell if I'm going to like a book immediately by looking at the cover. And so I love that there's a globe and you've got different ethnicities of children. So this book actually shows different environments, different homes. Their skin may be different from yours and their homes may be different from yours. So it talks about all sorts of differences. So this is a great book for everyone. Here's another one, Families Are Different. So as a school counselor, I know that there are a lot of kids that are being raised by grandparents, great-grandparents, aunts, uncles. They're in the system, so they're either being raised by foster parents or they've been adopted. So this is a great book for those adoption families or even fostering families because it just helps you see all the different family dynamics. Great book. All right, so Apple Pie, 4th of July. This one's great because this girl is saying, "Hey, we're in Apple Pie America, and my parents are eating chow mein." And I could relate to this book because even though I'm not Asian, my parents are Jamaican. And so I remember growing up eating traditional Jamaican foods like ackee and saltfish, green banana, fried plantain, mango, while everybody else was having hamburgers and hot dogs for the 4th of July. So this is a great book that I personally related to. This is one of the newest books in my family collection, Young, Gifted, and Black. Meet 52 Black Heroes from Past and Present, because I feel like my kids are probably going to learn about the same Black Americans in school over and over and over, like Martin Luther King Jr. And of course, there's nothing wrong with learning about the amazing people in history, amazing visionaries, world changers, but there are more than just a handful. There's so many more that I want my kids to learn about. And like, for example, one of these people is Jamaican. So of course that kind of brings in some of my personal cultural heritage. So this is a really great book. I'm not bilingual, but I do have family members who speak Spanish, and I want my kids to learn some Spanish. I would love if they could be bilingual. So these two books are absolutely amazing. So this one is my first 1,000 words in Spanish, and the great thing about these kind of books is you have the pictures to go along with the words, and when you're teaching language to early learners, this is really the best way because they can start to learn by association. So my first 100 words in Spanish, and then we've got mis primeras 100 palabras. So my Spanish is terrible, don't sue me. And this is another great picture book that has the pictures along with the words. So if you were trying to teach your kids Spanish, this is a great starting place. And do you know that your kids' brains are like little sponges? So if they can just begin to listen to the rhythm of the sound of the language, it makes language acquisition that much easier. Not Norman. So I wrote a post on my blog about books with Black males as the main character. You would be surprised to know that there are not a lot of books that have brown-skinned children as the main character. They might be a friend, but they're not necessarily the main character, especially more so for boys. And as we know, and as I've seen, there aren't a lot of boys that like to read. You have to work really hard to find books that capture their attention. And I know if I was a young brown boy, I would be excited to see a brown boy on the cover. And this is such a cute story about a boy and his pet, so not Norman. I really love the MVP Kids series. I worked with this company last year, and I really love their books. So this is not sponsored, but I love their books. First of all, because of the diversity in families. And as you can see in this book, this kid has a hearing aid. So we're not just tackling diversity as far as skin, culture, or language. Now we're also including disabilities, which is fabulous. And then at the end of the book, they do have some main characters, and you can see the diversity in the names. We've got Gabby Gonzalez, Young Chen, Anaya Patel, Lucas Miller, LeBron Miller. And then at the very end, they've got teaching tips for talking to your kids about whatever is going on in the book. And they even break it down by age, y'all. 18 to 24 months, 2 to 3 years, 3+ years. And this is a board book. So if you've got a toddler or a baby and they like to chew on books, then this is safe. And they have a whole series of books. So Celebrate Mealtime, we've got Celebrate Thanksgiving, Celebrate Christmas, Celebrate the Holidays. I even had one of my readers say that she was very conscious of books that had the whole family because she was a single mom. Well, y'all, even in these books, there are some pictures that show maybe a grandparent with the child or one parent with the child. So if that's your concern, there's even diversity in family dynamics. So MVP Kids books. All right, so this one is a great book because here is a white girl with curly hair. Franny be cranny, there's a bird in your hair. And so it takes you through the story of this little girl and her curly hair and a bird in her hair. And it's the cutest book. My children all have curly hair and they love this story. So white girl, curly hair, Franny be cranny. If you've never heard of Todd Parr, you are absolutely missing out. He writes so many books, and all of his books have these colorful illustrations. And this one, It's Okay to Be Different. So look, again, we've got a kid in a wheelchair. So we've got that diversity again with disability, as well as just talking about differences in general. And it starts off with this cute, funny page. It's okay to be missing a tooth. or 2 or 3. So this really will catch the attention of your toddler and your elementary age child. All right, this one is probably good for maybe a little older elementary child. A Sweet Smell of Roses. So this book actually walks you through the March to Freedom. So it takes you back in time. It's all pretty much black and white with a few colorful pages. And so you see Martin Luther King Jr. there. And it is told from a little girl's perspective. So this is a really great book. Now, I love talking to my kids about curly hair because I don't want them to grow up wishing that their hair was straight. When I was a young girl, I didn't even know the things that my curly hair could do. I always wondered why it was curly in the bath, and then afterwards, it didn't have the same curl. So it took me growing up, becoming an adult, no longer doing relaxers, figuring out what products to work for my hair before I knew what my curly hair was capable of. So what I love about this Happy Hair book is that it talks about different ways that you can wear your curls. We've got Fab Fro, Cute Crop, Pattern Wrap. And these are all brown girls, but they're all different shades of brown. See, there's even a light-skinned girl. So this is a really fun, cute book that my girls love. And I picked this up at the World Natural Hair Show in Atlanta. So if you have curly hair, you've got to hit up the Natural World Show in Atlanta. You love it. This book I loved as a kid because of A Reading Rainbow. Yes, this was a Reading Rainbow book, and it was such a good book. Mafaro's Beautiful Daughters. It's a little bit of a longer story, so if you have kids that don't like to sit for long stories, that they may not like this one until they're a little bit older, but it's such a wonderful story. And of course, if LeVar Burton recommended it, you know it's got to be good. So we talked a little bit about MVP Kids books, and I love that they have now come out with books for older children. So this one is Stand Together Against Bullying. So it's got more of the chapter book feel. And once again, what I told you I love about these books is they have the think about it, talk about it at the end. So as a school counselor, this is something that I could actually use to talk to kids about bullying. And then in the very back, we've got all the diverse characters again. All right, are you still with me? So I've got 2 more books to show you. I Hate English. This is a story of Mei Mei. She's an immigrant from Hong Kong, and she goes to Chinatown. So with the help of her teacher, she learns that it's okay to know 2 languages. And so this is really great, especially for the day and time that we live in, when there's so much talk about immigrants, immigration, is it bad? This is a great way to talk to your kids about that very subject. So I Hate English, such a cute story. And last but not least, this is a new book to my family. It's called These Hands. And so it just walks through more like a very poetic story. These hands can touch, these hands can feel, these hands create, these hands can build, these hands can reach, these hands can stretch, these hands can teach. But what I really love about this story is, once again, the representation. I only wish books like this existed when I was a little girl, so that I could see brown girls on the cover and stories about brown families. That would have been so meaningful to me because I was an avid reader. I love to read. So guys, I hope this little collection was helpful to you. This is just a small part of my collection, but I will link all of these books to my Amazon shop. And if you want to follow my Amazon shop, it's www.amazon.com/shop/arethoseyourkids, one word. So once again, it's www.amazon.com/shop/Are Those Your Kids? So I'll link that below in the description box.